Hello and welcome back. This is my VR to Natalia at Ouroboros, and it's her hashtag Blasted Ego, the Inner Tower video. So here we are. So there's going to be a little bit of a story time to mine. It's going to be what I call appropriate self-disclosure because, there's self-disclosure and then there's appropriate self-disclosure. And this is I'll try to maintain appropriateness. Many years ago, I was in a relationship that was not going to go forward. I ended this relationship, and because it's human nature, just because I ended the relationship didn't mean that the other party was ready to pack their stuff and move out. So there was that time frame between when I spoke my piece and when the person finally left. And it was, we were cohabitating at the time. So obviously the person needed to physically remove themselves from my space. All right. I had a dream, and interestingly enough, it was a time in my life when I was working both nursing and I still lived in my city of origin, and I was reading for people on my days off. So it was still back in the days where, you put an ad in the paper and then people came to see you at your home for a reading. Although most of the people that came to see me were repeat customers, I only ran my ad a couple of times a year, if that. So it was a lot of repeat customers, word of mouth, and all that stuff. And it was also a time where I had switched over from the Rider-Waite to the Morgan Greer. And this is the exact deck that I had at the time. Why do I bring up the deck I had at the time? Because during this tumultuous time in my life, I had a dream. And I literally dreamt this tower image. Except the difference was that the atmosphere was like in this card, right? The sky and the clouds and the tower. But I was actually on the ground. I wasn't falling out of the tower. I wasn't in the ocean, which it looks like that, ocean waves here at the base of this tower. But the coloring, the tower was on fire. People were falling out. I was at the base of this tower. And the people with me in this dream were people that are no longer in my life at this moment that I'm telling this story. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, my dream, I'm in the tower card. And even in my dream, I understood that it wasn't external. This is what was going on internally. That this was a projection of my internal life and what was going on. And that was probably that is the first time in my entire life that I recognized a tower moment, so to speak. Because that's how people describe, things that happen in their lives. That's a tower moment. Although I've had external things happen to me, which have made me feel displaced, my world crashing down, I've never thought of it as the tower in tarot. The tower in tarot has always been an internal process for me. The breaking down of the old. And I've always viewed, because of my experience reading tarot, that whenever I saw a tower card, I actually would be excited. Because I noticed that the tower card always appeared at the moment that something up here shifted. And when you're doing a lot of inner work, as I was doing I still continue to do a lot of inner work. But there was a time in my life where I needed to do constant inner work, constant breaking down of ideas and beliefs. Whenever I saw the Tower card, I felt as though, oh my gosh, I broke through somewhere. It was a breakthrough. All right. But this card, aside from that dream I had, this card, or even the one from Rider Waite, doesn't capture, for me, the essence of the Tower card. For me, the essence of the Tower card is when you finally break free of beliefs and thought patterns that keep you trapped in the Eight of Swords. For me, there's always a connection. And any reading I do for myself, there's always a connection between the Eight of Swords and the Tower. The Eight of Swords is where I'm just stuck. I'm stuck in my thought patterns. I'm stuck in my beliefs. I'm stuck. And then when the Tower appears, it means that I finally worked through getting unstuck. And if there's two cards in all my decks, and I think these are just the two that come to mind like right away and really capture that experience, it's the Tower from Tarot of the She. Look at this image. This to me it's you see the broken mask everywhere. You see the image of the being breaking free from this mask. This is the moment where these beliefs may have been mine, or they may have been externally, I may have adopted them from external sources. But what I'm feeling at the moment, at this Tower moment, so to speak, is that release from these preconceived notions, these stuck beliefs, these stuck thought patterns, where I find myself, my true self, and liberate myself from these thoughts that keep me imprisoned in a limited life, in a limited, where the prognosis is limited, where the future is limited. It's the moment when I see this card, I think, oh my gosh, finally I'm pushing past these limitations. And pretty much everything is an option. Another deck that I own, and this one's more current, is the Falarcos Tarot. And I'd be a liar if I said that this is not why I purchased it. I purchased this deck because of this image. This is the Tower in the Falarcos. And this, too, is that physical limitation breaking up. And that moment of realization that we are not stuck in any way or form by physical limitation. Our mind, our spirit is limitless. And once you recognize that although you are encased in a body, your mind and your spirit is still limitless. So these two cards, wrong side. So these two cards for me are just, it's what I see, no matter what deck I'm looking at, working with. These are the two images that I see when I think of the Tower. And I always celebrate when I see the Tower in a reading for myself or even for someone else. because for me, it's not just an external situation falling apart. There's always more to that story. So that's my contribution to #BlastedEgo, the inner tower. I hope to, I have enjoyed a lot of your videos on, of this VR. And I really thank Natalia for bringing it up, because I think that in the parlance, in the tarot community, I don't mean to be rude by calling it community. I just don't feel that community is the right word for it. But in the tarot realm, I think it's more of a realm than it is a community. People will bandy about the term tower moment, and it's always, or not always, but often it's about external forces. It's about losing your job, and it's about, the end of a relationship. But in the tarot, the tower is so much more. And it is a moment to be celebrated because of that break, because of that ability to see that although we live in this body, we live in this world, we live in these circumstances, our minds and our spirits are essentially limitless. Thank you for tuning in. I wish you all a beautiful day.